These are the 10 richest people in one of the world's fastest-growing economies, a tiny South American nation that climbed from 107th in global wealth to the top 10 in just one decade. Number 1 on this list will shock you, because their story involves billions of dollars US, federal indictments, gold smuggling allegations, and one of the most dramatic political rises in Caribbean history. Before diving into these fortunes, there's something crucial you need to understand about Guyanese wealth. Unlike the United States or other major economies, Guyana has no official Forbes list and no verified billionaire ranking. The net worth figures you're about to hear come from various estimates and reports, and some carry more weight than others. What can be verified are the business empires, the companies, the profits, and the controversies surrounding them. Think of this less as a countdown of dollar amounts, and more as a deep dive into the power players, reshaping one of the most remarkable economies on Earth. December 20th, 2019 changed everything for this nation when Guyana produced its first barrel of oil. According to the International Monetary Fund, Guyana led the entire world with an average 47% real GDP growth from 2022 to 2024, the highest growth rate on the planet during that period. Today, roughly 900,000 barrels of oil flow from Guyanese waters every single day, making this nation of just 800,000 people South America's third largest oil producer behind only Brazil and Venezuela. Production could exceed 1.7 million barrels per day by the end of the decade. Government oil revenue in 2025 alone sits at an estimated 2.5 billion US dollars, and ExxonMobil projects that Guyana's annual profit oil payments will nearly quadruple to more than $10 billion before 2030 arrives. For a country smaller than most American cities, that kind of wealth transforms everything it touches. Number 10, the Behari family. Starting at number 10, the Behari family built their empire the old-fashioned way, long before oil was even a possibility. Edward B. Behari established a small import business dealing in food products back in 1937, and what grew from that modest beginning now touches virtually every Guyanese household. Indi Special Madras curry powder carries the family name on every package, and so does Chico bubble gum, Champion baking powder, and Champion noodles. Food manufacturing represents just one piece of their holdings, because Behari Automotive became the exclusive distributor of Toyota vehicles in Guyana in 1994. Sterling Products Limited, famous for ice cream and soap powder, belongs to them as well. Banking interests through the Guyana Bank for Trade and Industry add another layer to their portfolio. Alongside insurance companies, including Secure International Finance Company and North American Life Insurance, and the Kentucky Fried Chicken franchise for the entire country. Between 1997 and 2007, the company invested over $27.5 million US dollars in expansion alone, earning ISO 9001 certification in 2005 to meet international quality standards. The founding patriarch Edward Behari has passed on, and his son Inderjit Behari, whose name literally graces that famous curry powder, died in February 2019 at age 78 after receiving the Cacique Crown of Honor, the country's third highest national award. The next generation now steers this diversified empire spanning manufacturing, automotive, banking, insurance, and fast food. Number 9, Jerry Guvia. Number 9 sounds like something from an action movie, because Gerald Guvia earned a government scholarship to Embry-Riddle Aeronautical University in Daytona Beach, Florida, one of the most prestigious aviation schools in the world. After graduation, he joined the Guyana Defense Force and served for more than a decade. Rising to the rank of major and becoming chief pilot of the Army Air Corps, while logging thousands of flying hours across the jungles of Guyana, South America, and the Caribbean. Flying wasn't enough for him, which explains why he and his wife Deborah, who is also a pilot, founded Roraima Airways in 1992. That airline, named after Mount Roraima, now operates charter flights across Guyana's interior. But the Roraima Group has expanded far beyond aviation to include an international travel agency, airline ground handling services, aviation security operations, an executive lounge at Chetty Jagan International Airport, 2 hotels in Georgetown, and the Arrow Point Nature Resort. Guvia also holds shares in Ogle Airport, officially known as Eugene F. Correa International Airport, as one of 5 owners. The Guyana Tourism Authority named him Tourism Entrepreneur of the Year in 2016, and that's when his career took an interesting turn. August 2020 saw him step down as chairman of the Private Sector Commission to accept a new role as National Security Advisor to President Irfan Ali. Head of the Guyana Prison Service Sentence Management Board followed in 2021, along with his position as Honorary Consul of Barbados to Guyana. The Golden Arrow of Achievement, one of Guyana's national honors, hangs on his wall, and black belts in both karate and judo demonstrate his discipline extends beyond business. July 2025 brought 2 brand new Italian-built Tecnom P-2012 aircraft into the Roraima Airways fleet. Number 8. Brian Tiwari. Number 8 generates strong reactions across the political spectrum because Brian Tiwari founded and chairs BK International, one of Guyana's premier construction and infrastructure companies. Roads, highways, bridges, and seawall defenses have been the company's bread and butter for decades, with projects completed to the satisfaction of successive governments, the Inter-American Development Bank, and the European Union. Major quarry operations round out the construction empire. December 6, 2017, brought a rare honor when King Felipe VI of Spain proclaimed Tiwari a recipient of the Officer's Cross of the Order of Civil Merit, a national award of the Kingdom of Spain, presented for the first time to a citizen of Guyana on Guyanese soil. Spain's ambassador to Guyana declared at the ceremony that, quote, "Few things in life are more satisfying than publicly acknowledging the merits of someone who has been doing such a splendid job on behalf of Spain." Tiwari serves as honorary consul for the local consulate of the Kingdom of Spain to this day. Controversy has followed him nonetheless, with questioning from the Special Organized Crime Unit regarding land transactions and a state lawsuit over the construction of Yarrow Cabra Secondary School. Questions about waterfront properties in Kingston, Georgetown have surfaced as well. Political navigation has defined his career, including service as a political advisor under the APNU plus AFC government in 2015, though he maintains he was, quote, "born a PPP." April 2025 brought clarity when he publicly stated his position. "I would like to work with the president, so I am on board again with the government with the PPP. And I never left." A formal endorsement of President Irfan Ali for a second term followed. Now, if you're enjoying this deep dive into Guyanese wealth, do me a favor and hit that subscribe button so we can reach our goal of 20,000 subscribers. Drop a comment below telling me which wealthy Guyanese has surprised you the most so far, and let me know if you've ever heard of any of these business empires before today. Number 7. Clifford Barrington Rise. Number 7 has led one of Guyana's oldest and most successful companies for over 3 decades, earning the Cacique's Crown of Honor along the way. Clifford Barrington Rise serves as chairman and managing director of Banks DIH Limited, a company whose history stretches back over 150 years through the Daguerre family. José Gomes Daguerre started a rum business in the 1840s that grew into a chain of retail spirit shops, and by 1896, his four sons had formed Daguerre Bros and purchased the Demerara Ice House, a hotel with liquor bars and a soft drink plant. The name Ice House came from actual ice imported by schooner from Canada, hence the initials DIH. Peter Daguerre took over in 1934 when bankruptcy loomed, turned everything around, and acquired the Pepsi-Cola franchise in 1942, making British Guyana the first country in South America to bottle Pepsi. Banks Breweries emerged in 1955, followed by the merger that created Banks DIH Limited in 1969. Peter Daguerre died in London on March 30th, 1989 at age 76, and that's when Clifford Rise stepped into leadership, where he has remained for over 35 years. Banks Beer, GT Beer, Banks Shandy, and XM Rum, which became the #1 rum in Guyana in 1959, all flow from this company. Licensed bottling agreements with Coca-Cola, Guinness, and Vita Malt add to the portfolio, along with the popular IC flavors. A 51% stake in Citizens Bank Guyana Inc. and the recently incorporated Banks Automotive and Services Inc. expand the empire further. The 2024 numbers tell the story clearly. Profit after tax reached 10.563 billion Guyanese dollars, representing a 17.76% increase over the previous year. Daily tax payments to the government average 51.5 million Guyanese dollars across excise, corporation, VAT, environmental levy, and PAYE combined. Over 15,393 shareholders own pieces of this 69-year-old public company, and January 2023 brought a new holding structure through Banks DIH Holdings Inc. to capture opportunities from Guyana's rapid economic development. Number 6, Dr. Yesu Persad. Number 6 passed away, but discussing wealth in Guyana without mentioning the most celebrated business figure in national history would leave this list incomplete. Dr. Yesu Persad died on January 17, 2022 at age 93, and his story represents the ultimate Guyanese dream in its purest form. October 1928 saw his birth at Plantation Diamond, where his great-grandfather had arrived from Uttar Pradesh, India, as an indentured laborer assigned to Diamond Sugar Estate. Young Yesu's father harvested cane while his mother worked in the weeding gang, and the family lived in a logie, the basic worker housing with a leaking roof, holes in the walls, no running water, no electricity, and an outdoor latrine. His first job involved catching rats on the sugar estate, which he found, in his own words, boring, prompting a switch to the spray gang before working his way up to punt captain supervising sugar cane transportation. At age 27, a little money from his wife Premkauri Singh funded his journey to England, where he became an associate member of the Association of Chartered Certified Accountants and worked as a senior auditor. Return to Guyana came in 1966, first as an inspector of taxes, then at Sandbach Parker and Company, the oldest British company in Guyana, where he became group finance director within 4 years, a position previously reserved exclusively for qualified expatriates. Government nationalization of the Demerara Sandbach Group in 1975 brought an offer to lead Diamond Liquors Limited and serve as managing director of Demerara Sugar Company. Transformation followed as he built Diamond Liquors into Demerara Distillers Limited, home of the world-famous El Dorado rums. Diversification brought Pepsi, 7-Up, Mountain Dew, Gatorade, fruit juices, and water into the fold, along with Demerara Shipping Company, Tropical Orchards, and Distribution Services Limited, representing Nestle and Johnson & Johnson. Subsidiaries sprouted in Holland, the UK, the USA, and St. Kitts. The founding of Demerara Bank Limited in 1994 created Guyana's first indigenous private sector bank. And the Institute of Private Enterprise Development followed to provide loans to micro and medium entrepreneurs. Diamond Fire and General Insurance Company, Trust Company Guyana Limited, and Guyana Unit Trust all bear his fingerprints. Awards filled pages of his biography: Golden Arrow of Achievement in 1981, Cacique Crown of Honor in 1983, and honorary doctorates from the University of Warwick, the University of the West Indies, and the University of Guyana. The University of Warwick renamed its Caribbean Studies Center the Yesu Persaud Center for Caribbean Studies in 2010. President Irfan Ali called him a true son of the soil upon his passing, and Komal Samaru, who succeeded him at DDL, declared that he made an outstanding contribution and has left a huge legacy. From rat catcher to business icon defines his journey. Number 5. Komal Samaru. Speaking of Demerara Distillers Limited, Number 5 now runs that empire after joining Booker's Rum Company in 1969, meaning over 55 years in the rum industry have shaped his career. Komal Samaru became CEO of DDL in 2014 and currently serves as executive chairman, overseeing a chartered accountant's dream of diversified holdings. El Dorado rum stands as the flagship product, considered one of the finest rums in the world. With distinctive flavors credited to oak barrels and Guyana's tropical climate, creating ideal aging conditions through high humidity and steady temperature. The DDL group extends far beyond rum though, encompassing Pepsi bottling for Guyana including Pepsi, 7-Up, and Slice, along with Diamond mineral water. TOPCO brand fruit juices produced through a state-of-the-art Tetra Pak packaging plant, and the Three Counties brand making jams, jellies, and fruit mix. Distribution Services Limited represents major international brands like Johnson & Johnson and PepsiCo Foods, while Demerara Shipping Company, Demerara Fire and General Insurance, Demerara Contractors Limited, and subsidiaries across Europe round out the portfolio. A 33.33% stake in National Rums of Jamaica connects the company to the broader Caribbean rum industry. Financial performance demonstrates the empire's strength. 2023 brought profit after tax of 5.969 billion Guyanese dollars, representing a 12% increase over the previous year, with revenue exceeding 31 billion Guyanese dollars. Capital expenditure that year topped 8.4 billion Guyanese dollars, and shareholders' equity stood at 53.353 billion Guyanese dollars. First half 2025 results showed profit after tax of 2.202 billion Guyanese dollars, up 5% from the same period in 2024. Major expansion continues under Samaru's leadership, with the Moblissa Dairy Project developing to produce fresh milk for Guyana, upgrades proceeding at the Demerara Shipping Company port facility, a new warehouse rising for 28,000 barrels of rum aging, and beverage production operations expanding. Board positions at Demerara Bank Limited and chairmanship of the West Indies Rum and Spirits Producers Association extend his influence beyond DDL itself. Analysis suggests Samaru and his predecessor Dr. Yesu Persaud directly own only 0.27% of DDL shares on paper, but control and wealth don't always measure the same way. The top 4 on this list demand special attention because these individuals find themselves entangled in one of the most dramatic stories in Guyanese history, involving U.S. federal sanctions, criminal indictments, political upheaval, and allegations of gold smuggling worth tens of millions of dollars. Number 4. Barrett Jagdeo. Number 4 brings controversy into the countdown. because some lists of Guyana's richest people include Barrett Jagdeo with an estimated net worth of $22 million. That figure comes from unverified sources and remains politically contested, with no verified financial disclosures to confirm or deny the claim. Born January 23, 1964, Jagdeo served as president of Guyana and has held the vice presidency since 2020, while commanding significant power as General Secretary of the People's Progressive Party. His decades in power have made him central to Guyana's political and economic landscape, and the 2025 election campaign saw his instrumental role in the PPPC's victory, which captured 36 of 65 parliamentary seats. Wealth lists include him frequently, which explains his presence here, but viewers should understand this entry carries significant caveats about verification. Number 3. Nazar Shell Mohamed. This is where the story detonates. Number 3 is Nazar Shell Mohamed, whose journey from abject poverty to alleged billionaire to U.S.-sanctioned figure represents one of the most dramatic arcs in Guyanese business history. March 27, 1953, marked his birth at Johanna Cecilia on the Essequibo coast, where his father worked as a sawmill worker, and the family survived in a 2-bedroom apartment in a loggia with a leaking roof, holes in the walls, no running water, no electricity, and an outdoor latrine. Fishermen neighbors sometimes gave them fish for meals out of kindness. A nickname emerged during his days at Madrasa, the Islamic school, where young Mohamed acted as a messenger between smitten teenagers, earning him the name Shell that would follow him to the heights of business. Brilliance in mathematics couldn't save his education when Anna Regina Secondary School became unaffordable because his parents couldn't manage the 23-cent bus fare. His father's death thrust him into the breadwinner role as the eldest son. Self-education came next, followed by trading ventures that started in the Caribbean, dealing in items like zippers before expanding to the United States, where he learned the trade market and became a licensed cambio dealer, handling foreign exchange transactions. Mohemed's enterprise emerged in 1993 and grew into one of Guyana's largest gold exporters, with the family business expanding into quarrying, real estate, and oil and gas services. April 2022 brought a major milestone when ExxonMobil's local subsidiary signed an agreement to lease a shore base being built by Mohemed's company in partnership with others at Vreden Hoop. Some sources claim Mohemed's net worth exceeds $1.5 billion, though verification remains elusive. Accusations plagued him for years, ranging from buying gold illegally from Venezuela to gun running, drug dealing, and terrorist financing, blocking his U.S. visa for over a decade. A 2023 decision to hire the Washington, D.C. public relations and lobbying firm BGR produced an investigation led by Tom Locke, a retired FBI acting assistant director, who found no evidence supporting the various allegations and described Mohamed as a true rags-to-riches story, damaged by false accusations and rumors by persons known to the businessman. June 11th, 2024 changed everything when the U.S. Department of Treasury's Office of Foreign Assets Control sanctioned Nazar Mohamed, his son Azruddin, and their company Mohemed's Enterprise. The Treasury alleged that between 2019 and 2023, Mohemed's Enterprise omitted more than 10,000 kilograms of gold from import and export declarations, while avoiding payment of more than $50 million in duty taxes owed to the government of Guyana. Bribery of customs officials to falsify documents and facilitate illicit gold shipments formed part of the allegations as well. Me Thomas, former permanent secretary to Guyana's Minister of Home Affairs, received sanctions too for allegedly providing benefits to Mohamed's enterprise in exchange for cash payments and high-value gifts. October 2, 2025, brought an 11-count indictment in U.S. Florida Southern District Court, with revelations that a shipment containing approximately $5.3 million in gold bars shipped from Guyana by Mohamed's enterprise was seized at Miami International Airport on June 11, 2024. The same day the sanctions dropped. Nazar Mohamed owns 90% of Mohamed's enterprise, and both he and his son face a maximum term of 20 years in prison on the most serious charges. Local politics had drawn him in by March 2023, when he ran on the PPPC ticket for local government elections and donated 1.4 acres of land at Providence for construction of a new Demerara Harbor Bridge. January 2026 brought a statement from the Attorney General of Guyana declaring, quote, "The Mohames are not above the law." Number 2. Azruddin Mohamed. Nazar Mohamed's story carries drama, but his son's story surpasses it in nearly every dimension. Azruddin Imtiaz Mohamed entered the world on March 1, 1987 in Georgetown, making him just 38 years old while running an empire that spans real estate, construction, foreign exchange, and gold mining through his 10% stake in Mohamed's enterprise. Hattie's World Incorporated, established in September 2009 for mining and quarrying, belongs to him, along with Team Mohamed's racing team, founded in 2013 to sponsor motorsport in Guyana, and a co-venture stake in the Vreden Hoop Shore Base project. A flashy lifestyle made him famous as the first person from Guyana to own a Lamborghini, and his Ferrari once drew attention at U.S. Customs, where it was detained before later release following court proceedings. Multiple sources, including ABC News, France 24, and Wikipedia, use the term billionaire businessman when describing him, though no verified figure exists. OFAC sanctions landed on June 11, 2024, bringing the same allegations as his father faced regarding tax evasion, gold smuggling, and bribery. The October 2, 2025 indictment included him alongside his father on those 11 counts. Guyanese police arrested him on October 31, 2025, following a U.S. extradition request. What makes his story unlike anything else in Guyanese political history happened next. Late May 2025 saw this U.S.-sanctioned businessman announce his candidacy for president of Guyana, followed by the formation of a brand new political party called We Invest in Nationhood, or WIN. In June 2025, U.S. Ambassador Nicole Thuriot immediately warned that the United States would cut economic ties with a potential Mohamed administration. Nobody predicted the September 1, 2025 election results, which saw the ruling People's Progressive Party capture 36 of 65 seats, while WIN, a party that had existed for only 3 months, claimed second place with 16 seats, 109,075 votes, and 24% of the total vote. 2 electoral districts fell to WIN, including Upper Demerara Burbus, which had been an immovable opposition stronghold for decades. For the first time in nearly 70 years, neither the APNU-led People's National Congress nor the PPP formed the main opposition, because a brand new party led by a U.S.-sanctioned businessman did. France 24 described WIN as attracting grassroots support among lower-income and indigenous communities through Mohamed's philanthropy and promises of fairer access to housing and opportunities. Mohamed declared himself ready for the opposition leader role and announced his parliamentary salary would go to charitable causes, stating, quote, "Being in opposition is not a difficult task, and I will be holding the government accountable and continue to work for the interest of the people of Guyana." July 2025 brought optimism to his public statements. When we take office on the 2nd of September, the United States of America will work with us, and I am being very optimistic that very soon I will be delisted. President Irfan Ali called him a threat to Guyana's security. Partnership with key ally, while U.S. Congressman Carlos Guyana accused Venezuela of trying to destabilize Guyana through what he called its pro Maduro puppet candidate Azruddin Mohamed. Late 2025 saw win MPs sworn into parliament, while the opposition leader election remained delayed, with protests occurring outside parliament demanding the vote proceed. The Guyanese Attorney General declared in January 2026 that Mohamed continues to present himself as an, quote, alleged victim of political persecution, rather than accept that his current state of affairs are consequences of sanctions imposed upon him. His father and their business. Supporters see him as a champion of the poor, while detractors see him as a criminal evading justice through political maneuvering. Courts will determine the truth, but this 38-year-old, U.S.-sanctioned figure labeled a billionaire has completely upended Guyanese politics in ways nobody predicted. Number 1. The oil itself. Number 1 might surprise you because it isn't a person at all. The true source of wealth transforming Guyana lies beneath the Atlantic Ocean, in the form of oil reserves that have rewritten this nation's future. ExxonMobil discovered oil at the Liza project in the Stabroek Block in 2015, and just 4 years later, Guyana produced its first barrel. Approximately 900,000 barrels now flow daily, with projections exceeding 1.7 million barrels per day by the end of the decade. The consortium developing these resources, led by ExxonMobil with partners Hess and CNOOC, has committed over $55 billion in investments. Government oil revenue in 2025 reached an estimated $2.5 billion, and that figure should nearly quadruple to over $10 billion annually before 2030. The IMF projects Guyana's GDP will more than double from $75 billion in 2025 to $156 billion by 2030, a transformation unprecedented in scale for a nation this size. Every wealthy person on this list, whether in construction, rum, beer, aviation, or gold trading, operates in the shadow of this change. The oil boom creates opportunities, inflates land values, drives infrastructure spending, and generates the foreign exchange that fuels every sector of the economy. President Irfan Ali responded to criticism about drilling in a now-famous BBC interview with words that echoed across the world. Does that give you the right to lecture us on climate change? I want to lecture you on climate change. Who is going to pay for the development and advancement of our country? Beneficiaries of this boom include ExxonMobil shareholders in Houston and the American and Chinese partners in the consortium. But they also include the Guyanese business people discussed today, the ones building shore bases, supplying equipment, importing vehicles, feeding workers, and providing services to an economy growing faster than anywhere else on Earth. The question isn't who's richest in Guyana today. The Mohamed story continues to unfold with extradition proceedings in progress, parliament debates ongoing about opposition leadership, courts preparing to have their say, and oil flowing steadily to create new fortunes and controversies not yet imagined. Guyana, once overlooked and underestimated, now demands the world's attention as a nation where 47% GDP growth passes for normal, where a new political party can win a quarter of votes in 3 months, and where the line between business tycoon and political leader has never been thinner. If this video opened your eyes to something new, hit that subscribe button so we can reach 20,000 subscribers together. Leave a comment telling me which of these wealthy Guyanese surprised you the most, and share your thoughts on whether the oil boom will create more billionaires or just concentrate wealth at the top. Until next time.